We are live, man. We are live. Yeah. Another day of a padded practice. Another padded practice day. How we doing, everybody? I'm good. We're live. I got that screen up. Cool. Have a safe trip. See you in Canton. I'm going to see my son in Canton. It's going to be cool. Yeah, he's going on business, man. Proud of him. Going on business. John, yep. All right, today's Brock Bowers. We're going to do Brock Bowers as our most influential Raider draft pick. He doesn't make my top 10 because he's in his second year, but we're going to do Brock. We got Pete Carroll's press conference. We have some good guests today. Jeff Sherman over at the Westgate. I'm working on some good stuff. Get on in here if you can.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio, your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years. And now, here's JT.
Yes, and we're out of the gate, JT, as we are coming to you live from the studios of Lotus Broadcasting, Raider Nation Radio. I was at Raiders practice today. It was indoors, and it was the most physical practice that I've seen. I called a Pete Carroll padded practice indoors where they were really hitting each other, and it was good to see. So what do I mean by that? They were hitting. They were hitting guys and finishing guys off, and some guys went to the ground, and guys were getting hit, which is good. And Pete Carroll's got a plan. And today the plan was, I believe, I didn't talk to him, let's get after it a little bit more. Let's get after it a little bit more and show some physicality. So that was good. You know, when we're there with the media, we get a chance to see drills, individual drills. And I put that all out there if you were able to see it and some of the other things that we're doing. So it was a nice day today. It was good to get in there and good to see what they're able to do and what they're able to do inside. And I'm impressed. The videos that I put out today and watching guys run routes and Ashton Genty and all of that stuff is fun. To see the speed of these players, to see what they're doing out there and how fast and how explosive they are. I was on another show today before I came on this show, and they said, what is the big difference, JT, between this and last year and the year before? I just think it's a little bit sharper. It's a little bit cleaner. Chip Kelly's offense is what's noticeably different, period. It's noticeably different. It looks better. Chip Kelly's offense looks better than Josh McDaniels' install in offense. And Josh McDaniels came to the Raiders, kind of that was his thing. He's an offensive guy. He's going to put his offense in, and they're going to go to work on his offense. Chip, that was a struggle. His offense struggled because he didn't really have a quarterback. Right? He had who do you have? Jimmy Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connell when he just came into the league. They didn't have much. And he was let go. And if you look at what Antonio Pierce had with Scott Turner and Norv Turner, they had Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Aiden's completely different. His body is shaped differently. He looks different. He just looks better. And now Chip Kelly, I think, has been rewarded. I don't know what Chip Kelly would have did with the Josh McDaniels players or the Antonio Pierce players, but it was worth the wait for Chip Kelly to wait and come to the team with Ashton Genty and Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers and Geno Smith, because Chip Kelly's got better guys to work with. And that's the focus of the monologue, brought to you by Golden Entertainment. PT's Fuels the Monologue, 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. Chip Kelly, into college ranks at Ohio State and Oregon, had the best of the best players to run his stuff, which was very elaborate. As my old program director would say, very zippy zawa. That was the way of saying, man, we got something that's just really different and faster, and it looks good. And it does look good with Chip Kelly. He wasn't a bad head coach at Philadelphia either. You know, he didn't go to the Super Bowl, but he's a good coach. Chip Kelly, there's a lot of good coaches that aren't great head coaches, but they're still good coaches. They're good at what they do. They're coordinators who get a chance to be a head coach. They get the job to be a head coach because the team's struggling, so they get an opportunity to be the head coach, and it doesn't work. The whole NFL, since dating back to leather helmets, has dealt with players and coaches who aren't ready for the next level. And they take bad jobs or they don't have good rosters and they get blown out. I mean, look at Brian Daboll with the Giants. He's the offensive coordinator with Josh Allen. He's doing really good. He gets to become a head coach with the Giants. What he should have done is pass. Should have said, no, you wouldn't have passed. I wouldn't have passed. You want to be a head coach. So he goes to the Giants. The Giants are a train wreck. He's going to get fired this year if they don't make the playoffs. If he would have waited another year in Buffalo, maybe he gets a better job. I don't know. Chip Kelly waited for this opportunity. He had a pretty good job at Ohio State. They won the national championship. And when he got here, he took a better job than he thought he was going to take because the players are better. And his scheme makes the players look better. And I hope that makes sense. His scheme should make Brock Bowers better. His scheme is definitely making Michael Mayer better. I'm seeing Michael Mayer get a lot of touches. It's just practice, but I like that. Jacoby Myers, I mean, Chip Kelly's got to love having a guy who doesn't drop the football. 1,000 yards, he didn't drop one pass. And then Chip Kelly, a dream in his life is to get Ashton Genty, who could be one of those talents that come along that we just haven't seen in quite some time. Now Chip Kelly's in the position to kind of work with Geno, make Geno better in the red zone, which he's got to get better in the red zone, keep up that completion ratio to 70 to 72%, pick up some running first downs instead of some throwing first downs. And Bobby and I talked about that, Bobby. That's the thing I'm going to struggle with the most is I don't like running the football because the last couple of years here, we just ran it into a pile, and I went nuts on that. But Chip Kelly's not going to run the ball in the pile. Of course, there'll be times where they run it up the middle and they don't get any yards. That'll happen, but he won't go back to that. Chip Kelly won't go back to running it up the middle repetitively like this team has done in the past. At least I hope so. And they're going to have a lot of different schemes and motion and all of that. No huddle. Oh, my God. JT the Brick in third person. How much would I like to see opening play of the season, opening drive, no huddle. Just run it. Run the plays that work in Henderson. I saw a lot of plays today that worked in Henderson, right? If you know me, you know that's an inside joke that I'm always saying run the plays that work in Henderson and run them in the game. We didn't do that the last couple of years. We just ran it in the pile. We didn't give the ball to Michael Mayer. We didn't do anything unique. We couldn't block, couldn't run it. Now we got Chip Kelly. And if Chip Kelly doesn't think we can run a play because we're not good at it, he'll either make the play better or give Geno an opportunity to run something different. The other things I saw today, which are getting interesting, is I'm not making a big deal. I'm not a stir the pot guy. There's plenty of those out there. But the fact that Jackson Powers Johnson isn't with the ones all the time and Meredith is with the ones and they're switching off is getting interesting. That's getting interesting now. And I think it's fair to say that there's competition with John Spytek, Pete Carroll, and this roster, that there are going to be days where someone is going to play over you to see how they perform compared to you. Jacorian Bennett, as me and Vinny Bonsignor were standing together on the sideline, Jacorian Bennett is playing with the threes. Oh, boy. What's that all about? You don't need to get him any runs with the threes unless he's going to play with the threes or he's going to be a backup. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We got plenty of time. I'm going to be sitting down with John Spytek and Pete Carroll in the production meetings before the preseason games. The stuff that they tell us is private to use on the broadcast, but I'll have a better understanding of the depth chart. So the corners and Jamal Adams, who came over this week when they brought him in, at the end of last week, whenever they brought him over, he's there to play as of now. He's there to prove that he could be a thumper. He could be a guy who can play close to the line of scrimmage. Jeremy Chin, I think, has a defined role. He's a starting safety. Isaiah Palamal could be a starting safety, but he's still got to prove himself because Jamal Adams was brought in. Stokes and Darian Porter and Jacorian Bennett, they're all trying to perform and compete. So we don't have a player at the cornerback position such as Charles Woodson in his prime, or Rod Woodson in his prime, or Skip Thomas, or the legends like Mike Haynes and Lester Hayes that you go, that's cornerback number one. I haven't seen that yet. I'm pretty confident that Jackson Powers Johnson is going to be the starter, but he is not starting every day and every rep. So that's interesting to see as you continue to see that trend. It's interesting to see as I'm watching who they're putting out of there. DeCamerion Richardson or Jacorian Bennett. Does DCam have the edge over Jacorian? I don't know. I'm going to interview people on that and ask them going forward here. But we know what the Raiders have now. And with Ashton Genty and his ability to run the football, it should take some pressure off of Geno. And I saw that today on a couple of inside handoffs. And they were tackling today. They were getting after it. Max and the crew and the defensive tackles, for what I could see from where I was standing, they were definitely running to the ball and making contact. They weren't cracking people and taking them to the ground, but guys went to the ground today at times in practice, and that's good to see. So the physicality of the team was evident earlier today. We're going to play Pete Carroll and part of his press conference coming up here momentarily for that, because I got to get in the car and come here when he starts talking to everybody. So that's what I like. The thing looks different. When you hear everybody on every show telling you things look different, it's tough for guys like me who interviewed Antonio Pierce every week. But things look different. And I think Antonio Pierce understands that. He wasn't the head coach of Pete Carroll, nor did he ever say he could be. He was just starting as a head coach. Josh McDaniels is not a good head coach. He's had his chances in this league. It didn't work out. I think he's a very dangerous and good offensive coordinator. The Raiders will see him week 1. And as I talked about on the sidelines today, there is no doubt in my mind that the New England Patriots, the LA Chargers, and Jaden Daniels and the Commanders in the first 3 weeks are going to attack our secondary. That's what they're going to do. You know it. I just said it. That is, I'm not using the term weakness. Not using the term weakness. But the Raiders' strength is not their secondary yet. And Pete Carroll's working his way through that with Patrick Graham. And it's competition. And it's competition, Pete. It's compete. And there are days that I am just joyful when I see that guys are running with the 2s who should be running with the 1s, and they're not, because Pete Carroll's having them run with the 2s and 3s. He's giving people the opportunity to play. That's pretty cool. It's not like, hey, you're out, go play. We're going to just go through the motions. You're our starter. We're going to pencil you in there with the 1s every day. Nope, not happening here at Raiders camp. Every day, head on a swivel. So I got there a little bit earlier today, and I showed up in the break room, their kitchen, their cafeteria, and I sat down with a cup of coffee. John Spytek was there with his family, and nice to say hi to him. And I'm just sitting there, sitting at a table, and I'm looking out, and Pete Carroll shooting jump shots. So they got a basketball hoop right there off the practice field, right there. And Pete Carroll's chucking up these, 10-footers. Swish, swish. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'm not going to video it. Not my right. That's not an open moment to video anything. I'm just watching. And someone's feeding him the ball. He's just knocking down threes. So he puts the basketball down and he runs out there. He puts his gloves on and he's throwing warm-up passes like he's the next Tom Brady, just throwing, getting loose. The guy he's throwing what's moving farther back. And then the players come out and he's just running all around the place. Just dapping everybody up. It's crazy to see it. It's really remarkable. It's really fun to see what he's doing. And then all the coaches run out there and they do the same thing. So everybody's getting a chance. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, please subscribe. We need people to subscribe to YouTube. What we're seeing is a time in Raider history where there's a new regime. Everybody's sitting around and everybody buys into this because they're seeing it. And I'd be the first to be critical of me. I buy in every year because it's July and it's supposed to be better. And when I don't see it better, we tell you about it. We know by week 1 or 2 if it's not better or not. But this one's a little bit different. If the Raiders lose a game, God forbid, or if they lose an early game, I think the Raider Nation is going to say, no, this is a good plan. This is a solid foundation on how to win football. I don't know how many games they're going to win, but they are clearly coached at a level where the defense is going to benefit from the offense picking up more first downs. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I want to see the offense win the time of possession battle because Ashton Genty, Raheem Mostert, who I guess the wife just had a baby, and Sincere McCormick. Oh, and a lot of people asked me what I meant about Zeus, Zamir White today. I was with Harry Ruiz. He went right by me. I said, how much weight did he lose? Last year, like Ashton Genty looks really bulked up. Like he looks like a weightlifter. His biceps are insane. Looks like that Fantastic Four Hulk guy. Well, Zamir White looked similar to that last year. He does not look like that now. Someone told him to lean up because whatever he did last year didn't work. It was a combination of the play calling, the offensive line. They were dead last. Whatever he's doing, Zamir White looks different. And every year people look different. I'd say from my eye, the three guys who look the most different to me in a good way are Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell looks leaner, looks more athletic. He just looks like he's developed into a different looking guy. Number two is Colt Miller. Colt Miller just looks really lean, like a boxer getting ready for a fight and leaning down, but still big. And then Zamir White looks noticeably different to me. He looks like he leaned down a bit. I don't know what his weight is and all that. But with all these guys, they just look super fit. Pete Carroll told them to go get and stay super fit when they came back and got the install and what they were going to be able to do. So I like what they're doing here. A lot of people are peppering me on Christian Wilkins about the kiss and where the kiss was. I have no interest in that topic. I work for the Raiders. I'm not a gossip promoter. This will all come out. Whatever Christian Wilkins did, whoever he did it to, I promise it'll all come out. It will not come out through me. A lot of people are guessing now. A lot of people want clicks. A lot of people want to take what someone else says and then quote tweet it so they can get more likes. You know, everybody's in that business. I'm in it too, but different. So what Christian Wilkins did with his rehab or how he behaved in front of his teammates is being investigated. And a lot of people around the league, because it's a slow time of year, that is still a trending story. I got nothing for you. The only thing I told you that it's fluid. He's gone. If he did anything that was rude or crossed the line, it will come out because everything comes out. Normally everything comes out. And it's none of my business. And he's out and he's off the team. Now, none of us were aware of this, including the big boys, Jay Glazer, Adam Schefter. I mean, you're really busting Vinny's blank and other people's blank for not knowing this? I mean, come on. The big boys who cover national NFL, Peter Schrager at ESPN, no one had this a week ago, that Christian Wilkins could have been acting weird or different. No one had that. And I'm not sitting around asking people about the specifics of that because that's not my lane. And there are newsbreakers who will break that. And we'll see what happens there. But he's off the team. No one seems to care anymore. He's gone. That's a real big takeaway. Nobody cares that he's gone. I'm not saying he was a terrible teammate or a great teammate. That's all going to come out. Am I looking to hide information? No, I'm always honest with you. I don't have any information. I don't know the way he behaves in the locker room and his personal life. No idea. But I really wanted him to work well because I think he's a great player and could still be a great player if he heals correctly. He wasn't rehabbing to the level of what the Raiders might have envisioned by not having another surgery if recommended or acting a certain way. And if he was acting a certain way while he was not available to play, tell that to my sons. I got two hardworking sons just getting into the workplace. I go, you don't behave badly in front of anybody, number one, and in front of your work employees. You act a certain way at work and you treat people the certain way. You know, football can get interesting. You know, some people are just a little bit out there. You know, Raiders had some guys in the 70s and 80s. They were out there. They like to drink a lot of cold beer. They like to go out after practice and get after it. All in good fun. Don't know what happened here. Wheels up to Canton on Thursday. Excited about that. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're putting some programming together for Friday on Eric Allen. All right, let's get to a little Pete Carroll. This is Pete Carroll a little while ago. As he spoke, practice was indoors today, and Pete Carroll met the media.
Pete, we've noticed a little rotation going on at center with Jackson and Jordan Meredith. Hey, what has Jordan Meredith shown you guys since you guys have been here, and what's how do you feel that job is shaping up?
First off, it just goes right to the heart of everything. It's always competing. These guys are battling for their playing time, and they're battling. It's a good battle. You asked about Jordan specifically. He's done well. He played really efficiently last year. His numbers and his consistency really showed up, even though he didn't seem right as a regular all the time. So he just opened our eyes in the offseason studies, and so we're just giving him a shot. JPJ's working his tail off, and both those guys are battling. So it just makes us better. And they're not the only two. There's battles across the board, but that's one that that jumps out at you.
Speaking with those battles, could you please talk about Sincere and Zamir and their battling?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the running back group. It's the variety of the styles of the guys. I love that we have different kind of makeups of guys. Zamir kind of stands alone. He's biggest, strongest of the group, and he really runs tough. It's all over the film from his past. He's running at guys. He's attacking downhill, and I love that he brings that to us. Sincere, who didn't get a lot of playtime last year, did really well when he did, and he's shown he's got a real knack. He's got really, really good quick feet that are real natural to the position, and he makes guys miss. And so right now it's just keep giving them the ball, and we'll just keep logging plays and reps, and we'll figure it out. But we're real happy with the spot. I also, just to say something about Ashton, he's had a couple great days now. He's done a little bit of everything. Ran tough, caught the ball well, looked elusive and fast and explosive. So it just makes the position group really exciting. And we don't have Raheem here. They're having baby right now, and so we're giving them all that freedom to do that well. And but he's been in it too, so it's a good group.
On the other side of the ball, can you talk a little bit about what you've seen, the energy from Jonah Laulu, and just him trying, not even trying, he's fitting right in.
Yeah. I've said this a couple of times to you guys that Jonah had really flashed last year when he played, and didn't play consistently, didn't get in all the time, didn't log a ton of plays, but he shows all of the traits. He's really long, plays really aggressive, he's really good technique wise, he's a little bit quicker than you might think for a big guy, and he uses it well. His resolve about coming from the offseason all the way through to camp is really clear. He's really on it. He's playing day after day after day. He's doing things right, and he's playing really hard, and he's really tuned in. He's playing tough. So he's making a great pitch for he needs to be out there a lot. So it's good.
Talking about the DBs, JT Woods and DeCameron Richardson seem to be ascending in a lot of ways. What about those two players?
Okay, they're ascending. Yeah, well, JT came to us late, so we're just getting started with him. DCam he's been doing a really nice job. He's had some really competitive plays. He's won some one-on-ones just in the first couple of days of pads here, and I've got high hopes for JT. He looks just right. He's really fast. He's really coordinated, can catch the ball well and all of that. He listens, and he's comfortable with what we're asking, the style of play. He's suitable. He looks pretty typical, I would guess, for us, for our kinds of guys. So he's going to get a heck of a chance to see what he can do and how he can contribute. So it's good positives to start with.
Talking about competition
today.
Go ahead.
We saw Devin with the interception today. Can you talk a little bit about your confidence in the group of linebackers in general?
Yeah, this is a good group for us now. We have totally changed this position group, from what you've seen in the past, and these guys all bring background and experience and toughness and a hard-nosed attitude, physicality to them. It's pretty exciting, and to see the effect they're having on the younger guys and kind of shifting their intensity and how they're playing and coming downhill. Johnny Glenn's got some decisions coming up here. It's going to be a really competitive group throughout, and we can play 6 guys right now. They can all play, and they can get in there. So that's a good problem. It's a tough problem to deal with, but we'll figure it out. We haven't talked maybe a lot about Pratt and Jermaine, but he brings a real toughness, and he has had a really diverse background and playing different spots and all. Very comfortable moving them around, and we're seeing that also out of Devin. Devin has a great playmate today now, but he had probably 2 or 3 of the best plays on practice yesterday as well. He's back. He was on top of the world a few years ago, and then things kind of just didn't work out one reason or another. And he's back in action now. And he came up to me and said, "I'm all in now." And he was dead serious in how he said it, and you can see it. You can see it. And so with E-Rob kind of leading the charge, it's a really fun group.
Alex Bachman's a kid that just keeps making plays, just keeps showing up. Would you talk about him, please?
Yeah, I'm not ignoring that. He has been doing it throughout the offseason, and he's come to camp with the playmaking. It's happening. He's getting in the right spots. He's got really good quickness. He's fast. He's a fast kid. He's got a lot of experience in his background. He just hasn't played very much. I'm not holding that against him. Man, he's in the midst of all this stuff, and I see it too. I see him. He's making plays every day, and we can count on him. And so it's a great sign. He's doing well in special teams too.
As you try to build a culture of this organization, this team on a daily basis, what are you seeing in the process, and what little things do you try to do each day to get to where you want it to be?
There's so much. Really, there's so much that we're doing from a day-to-day basis, going back to the messages that we started with, and setting the expectations and the guidelines for how this is supposed to feel. And when it is the feel part of what culture is really about, when you sense where you're supposed to be, how it's supposed to go, how we respond, what's expected, and when the players embrace that, and they add their own little thises and that's to it. Now we're moving in a good direction now. I can feel it. This is how it's supposed to feel according to what I've experienced. And maybe even with stronger leadership early on, and the direction of this team, it's unknown right now. We don't know. I couldn't tell you anything what's going to happen. But I do know they're going to be together, and I do know they're going to play for one another, and they're going to feel that connection that is so important to the culture and the effect of the culture on the performance. And really, it's about how we play, but it's the mentality that drives them to study and to work and to give it up for one another and to make the plays toughness wise, because they have to, because we're counting on them, and that's all about this whole thing. So, there's so many aspects to it. It's ongoing, moment to moment, situation to situation, and I'm just trying to be right in the middle of all of it and keep giving them a format that they can embrace and they can take to where we're capable of going.
You mentioned the curiosity level of when you get the pads on, seeing how guys respond. I thought Jack Besh yesterday
that
really responded, but also Dante Thornton when the pads came on.
It's a good acknowledgement, really, because Jack really played well yesterday. And sometimes coaches have been saying it, you guys hear it, you got to wait to put the pads on and see what he looks like. Well, Jack looked really good yesterday. He blocked well. He caught the ball in traffic. He made some tough catches. He was hustling like crazy, and he showed up. He was all over the place, so I think it was obvious. He's one of those guys. He's got the feel. He's got the sense. He can play the game, and that was really good to see. Dante continues to do stuff. He's making plays. He got deep yesterday. You guys saw that one. A huge play by Gino to find him laid down, down the corner. And he came through, made the catch. He's made tough catches over the middle. He's caught the slant routes where he's getting banged around and all that. And he's comfortable with it. I just stopped him after practice just to look him in the eye and just try to get a feeling. Is it seeming too big for him? He's right in it. And so I'm really excited about his chance to help us.
As much as you love competition, everyone knows about Bowers and Mayer, but man, Kadir and Runyon and Thomas, your tight end room is really deep. Would you talk about that group, please?
Yeah, we shouldn't overlook Ian now. Ian is a good football player. He's been a starter a lot of places, and he's played really good ball, and he's in great shape. He's fast. He's tough. He's got the experience that shows up. He makes good decisions at the right time. It's a really good group, and the young guys they're flashing. They're flashing. So it's a very strong spot for us.
All right, let's sum up. Pete Carroll went on to talk about another 4 or 5 minutes. What I find really unique is that when Vinny's asking him questions and everybody, like the Jack Bash answer, he knew exactly what to say. He had a good day in practice yesterday and was specific about it. What Pete Carroll does that's differently, everyone, is he's so hands-on with the film and the practice and the competition with his assistants and his coaches that when they talk about it and have a review, they know who played well. Like it for me, I come on here and I say Jack Bech looked well. Well, it's just my opinion. Pete Carroll knows if he played well or not. He's the coach. He could tell you. So he's very positive. You're not hearing him talk down about anybody. Not saying, well, he's got to get better yet. It's early in camp. But how about that about Jack Bech putting the pads on and Dante Thornton and how they were able to play to the level of Pete Carroll? And then the running back room is going to be really interesting. Sincere McCormick, Zeus, Raheem Mostert's away, having a child, his wife is, and then we know this is Ashton's team. He's the leading running back. And how everybody else is going to fit in. And they asked about the competition of offensive line, Meredith versus Jackson Powers Johnson. I'm the Jackson Powers Johnson guy. I think he wins that job. I think he's the choice. We got to start his career at center and leave him alone. Make him compete every day. In the days he's playing with the twos. And I don't think he's going to be offended by that. Might motivate him to even play better. Isn't that what this is all about? So we appreciate that. Monologue brought to you by Boyd Gaming. 10 properties here through Boyd in the Valley. Locals. You know, a lot of people are talking to me all the time about what's happening in Vegas. There's a lot of gouging. There's a lot of this. It's too expensive. What's going on? Not with Boyd Gaming. Boyd knows exactly what you locals want in town. And if you're coming from out of town, head on out to a Boyd Gaming property because they've been here for so long, the legacy of Mr. Boyd and how they treat their customers right. Boyd Gaming, proud partner of Raider Nation Radio. So I'm going to be moving some people around today. Mike North, one of my favorite sports talk hosts ever, on the passing of Ryan Sandberg. Wow, that's a big one. 65 years old. The Hall of Famer passed away. I know there's some Cub fans out there. If you have a call for him today would be the day to do it. Jeff Sherman joins us from the West Gate as we take a look at the moving odds. We got a busy show, and Brock Bowers is our draft guy today.
Previously on Unnecessary Roughness.
Oh, I need to hydrate. Raider D is right. Need to hydrate. What's that? Do I want to hit what next? About? No. You're, yeah.
Like about 5-6 minutes in this next segment, jump out and go to Tony.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's Brock Bowers today. So you're playing Brock Bowers.
Yeah, come out with the rejoin with that.
What?
Come out with the rejoin.
Yeah.
Is this JM being a wise ass on Wilkinson? Do I have to put him in a timeout or is he going to be behaved? JM. Trey Lance on the Chargers, yes.
Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way, with integrity, experience, and authenticity. We're champions for the underdog.
Let's see what Ian Rappaport is saying.
You deserve a team without hidden agendas, a team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333.
A couple of guys are hurt today at different camps.
Yeah. The Bills player without 4 to 6 weeks for an ACL.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Vinny tomorrow in the spot. I got the days mixed up.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yes, maybe it's fake news. I would assume it's stupid fake news. Yes.
Hey, Las Vegas, are you tired of plumbing prices that break the bank? At 365 Plumbing, we're bringing fair pricing back.
All right. Let me post something here quick and we'll get ready to get back. Oh, good.
Really? More
My son does this.
Guys hitting a little bit harder and finishing off tackles and really looking good. Chino with the ball coming out in drills. Ashton Genty. As you can see, his explosiveness, he's just so good. It's going to be great to watch him.
We're not just a real estate company, we're a lifestyle brokerage with over 20 years of experience. When you work with us, you get more than a realtor. You get an entire team dedicated to creating an experience you'll love. From start to finish, we make buying or selling your home smooth and fun.
Hey.
No, beat the heat. Did anybody get their season tickets with the Raiders? It came in like a book. Yeah, it's interesting.
Gotta give them credit. They always do a nice
Yeah, they do a nice job. They do a nice job. They didn't include Derek Carr in the quarterback section because when they went to print, when they were putting it together, that takes a year to put this together. Derek Carr was with the Saints.
Brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
Ritter gets the snap. He's looking left. He's pressured. He escapes out to the right, keeping the play alive to the end zone, looking for Bowers. Caught it! Touchdown, Brock Bowers! Over the outstretched arms of Von Bell. It's a 22-yard touchdown. Ritter with a beautiful touch pass to the front of the end zone. And Brock Bowers has his second touchdown grab of the year.
JT back with you as we continue on, as we look at our players' most influential draft picks. So we have the open for that as we get going. Yeah, that's what I thought we were going to do. Let's get to Brock Bowers as we feature that today.
Over the next few weeks of summer, JT will look back at the most influential Raiders draft picks in the history of this storied franchise.
With the 13th pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select
the players only drafted by the Raiders who played in the most important games and also had lasting impacts on the NFL.
All right, we wanted to do Brock today because you can include Brock into your phone call. Brock Bowers, born December 13, 2002. Brock Bowers, born in 2002, Napa, California. I posted today a memory 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I anchored the Raiders training camp coverage today. 10 years ago to the day in Napa. Brock Bowers was 12 years old. Went to Georgia, was drafted in the first round, the 13th pick overall, and he's already a first-team All-Pro. It's too early in his career. I'm not going to go and read his bio, but I wanted to mention him as one of the most influential all-time Raider draft picks. We put him in. We had to get him in here. He's one of the only guys I do this with because he's had that big of an impact. The only other player that I remember having an impact at this level was Darrell Russell. May he rest in peace. When Darrell Russell came in his first 2 years, back-to-back Pro Bowl years, he was an impact defensive tackle. Man, he was a good defensive tackle, Darrell Russell. Brock hit the ground running. He had an amazing year. He had one of the best years in NFL history. He just dominated everything that we expected him to do. So we want to see more of Brock. As his college numbers, he's a two-time Mackey Award winner, two-time national champ. So that puts him up there. And then last year, in the games that he played, he started 16 of 17 games, 112 receiving yards, 1,194 yards, 5 touchdowns overall. The touchdowns have to go up, period. They got to get him the ball in the red zone more. Problem with that is he will be doubled. He will be doubled in the red zone under Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly will put him in motion more, and Michael Mayer, some 12 personnel. I think that they're going to really try to stress getting Brock. The touches are great. 112 receptions, beautiful. And I expect the same. You know, I don't know if it's less, if it's 105, but if you can go from 5 touchdowns to 11 or 12, I think that'll be the good progression because I believe the Raiders will have more touches in the red zone with Geno. So we just wanted to get Brock in there today. I wanted to young it up. You know, I'm putting in some of the older guys and the phones don't ring. And I'm like, oh, God, are we doing something right here? Please tell me I'm doing something right. And no one wants to call in on the old guys. And I'm like, all right, let's do it in young guy today. So if you have something you want to say about Brock, today's a good day to do it. I think all time in Raider history, he's an influential draft pick. How lucky he is to be here. Well, he could have went anywhere. Can you imagine passing on Brock Bowers with the first 12 picks? The Jets, the teams that passed on Brock Bowers. Are you kidding me? He fell to the Raiders, fell right to the Raiders perfectly. And now the Raiders have a player who could be a generational talent, along with Ashton Genty. I know I talk about Brock a lot because I back it up. We have to find players like him and more. And Tom Telesco drafted him. It's a good pick. Give him credit for that. Was it a no-brainer? Yeah, at 13, it was a no-brainer. I watched Rich Gannon. I tell this story in real time at Omnia nightclub while the pick was coming, and Rich Gannon saw it. He's like, they're going to take Bowers. Everyone's like, wait, they already have Mayer. Who cares? They got 2 now. They got 2 tight ends. And the shock on some people's faces when he was drafted, like, how dare you take another tight end? He's the best player available. Best player available. Ashton Genty, best player available at number 6. So in back-to-back years, we get Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. You would hope that puts the Raiders on the right track. 702-365-9200. We're going to spend time talking about Ryan Sandberg. Also coming up next, Jeff Sherman over at the Westgate on the moving lines. Thank God I have a show in Chicago that's live and not Vegas. Bob's in Chicago. He's calling in first. Hello, Bob.
Hey, JT, great to talk with you.
Thank you.
It's coming out for the Bear, I should say the Raider-Bear game, not the Bear-Raider. I'm looking forward to it, but I want to.
Hey, Bob, we want Raider fans out here for the game. We don't want Bears fans. I mean, you're gonna take one.
I'm a Raider fan.
You're a Raider fan.
I'm a diehard Raider fan going back to 1960.
Okay, good. Back to the days of our late friend Raider Mort. So good. I didn't know about that. So you're a Raider fan. You're going to protect the house. You're coming for the Bears game in your Raider gear. Love it, Bob. Love that.
Exactly. But talking about draft picks, Tim Brown, that's what he reminds me of. Class act all the way.
Yeah, class act, really solid on that. And Tim Brown, I can promise you, will make our top 10. As we go to our top 10 Raider most influential draft picks, Tim Brown will be in our top 10. Good to hear you. When he said he was from Chicago, he's coming out to the Raider game. I'm like, come on. We don't need a Bears fan out here. Bears are coming. Cleveland's coming. A lot of people are coming this year for Raider games. Dallas is coming. Chargers will have a couple of more bandwagon fans maybe try to come. Season ticket showed up yesterday, big book. It looked like a book you'd have in the library with the season tickets, and they featured the quarterbacks. Remember, for those who are freaking out that Derek Carr wasn't in there, Derek Carr wasn't retired when this went to print. So calm down. We didn't disrespect Derek Carr. This was about Derek Carr still in the league. They weren't doing current players in the league. Understand that wasn't a personal slight against Derek Carr. Okay, when they went to print this thing, they don't put this together at Kinko's 3 weeks ago. This takes a lot of time to do it. And the Raiders put out another really nice edition if you're a season ticket holders. Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate, one of our gambling segments coming up next.
It's the morning tailgate.
Jerry Jones has done a lot for the sport, but he is so out of
Calgary
touch,
Raider
it is not
fan.
even funny. And it's his fault. The price has been going up for Micah since Max got paid. 5 players have gotten paid since then at that position. His number is only going up, and he's the youngest of the bunch. It's the same thing that I was saying about Cincinnati. Who wants to go play for that team right now?
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
Does your car or truck need repairs? Dollar Loan Center has you covered. Fixing a car is always expensive, and so is the normal maintenance. Brakes, oil change, cracked windshield, transmission issues. The list is long, and don'tbebroke.com can help. At Dollar Loan Center, you can get a signature loan up to $5,000, and you only pay interest for the time you have the loan out. New customers always enjoy 1 week of free interest on your first loan. Stop by one of our 60 locations. Apply over the phone with a real person or online at don'tbebroke.com.
Anybody in the chat have a gambling question, odds, something I can bring to Jeff Sherman? Let me know.
Dollar Loan Center has you covered.
Licensed by Nevada Financial Institutions Division. Subject to approval, limitations may apply. See website for details.
Sometimes life throws you a curveball, and you'll need the assistance of an outstanding criminal attorney like our winning team at the Vegas Lawyers. I'm Tony Abatangelo. Whether it's representation for a DUI, domestic violence, record sealing, or any other criminal defense issue, we will walk you through all the legal complexities. Don't get left on base. Call the Vegas Lawyers.
The Vegas Lawyers, a division of Paul Pata Law. Don't go it alone. Go to thevegaslawyers.com.
Players era, where the lights get brighter, the stakes get higher.
College
basketball returns to the iconic MGM Grand Garden Arena and Michelob Ultra Arena, November 24th through 27th. Elite men's and women's power teams collide. Kansas, Alabama, Auburn, Gonzaga, Tennessee, South Carolina, local favorite UNLV, and more. This is more than just college basketball. This is November Mania in Vegas, baby. Get your tickets today at AXS.com.
Bobby's busting balls.
3 seconds. Where you calling from?
What did he want?
I don't waste my time.
What did he say?
I mean, listen. What's your name? Where you calling from? If you can't handle those 2 questions, you're gone.
How hard is it to say, where are you calling from? What topic do you want to talk at? And your
I don't
name?
even care about the topic. Just give me your name and where you're calling from. Apparently, that's too complicated. Whatever.
I will tell you, caller-driven radio isn't dead yet, but it's going to be on hospice life support coming up here in 5 years. This is like the end of calling radio, man. I got 30 years out of this shit, 30 great years out of it. Man, used to be you come in every day and, man, people are just excited to get on the radio.
Hey, Jeff, it's Bobby. How you doing? Doing all right now. Get up with JT in 1 minute.
All right.
All right, this is Bowers coming back.
Yep. And we got on at Mike Jones from The Athletic. Yep. Perfect.
Cool. So we still got Mike later.
Yeah, it's by Mike Jones. I got him. Yep. Yep. Thank you.
Raider Nation, what's your name? And listen, I got an interview coming up. You're going to hold for a few. You want to call me back top of the hour or hold on?
Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Well, we're a little bit of the Niners. We like the Niners a little bit, but the Raiders did their training camp in Napa. So I used to at my middle school. Actually, that was my middle school where they went. So it's pretty cool. How it all comes full circle like that.
Full circle for Brock Bowers, middle school at Napa, and now a Raider. He's our featured most influential draft pick of the day. JT, back with you. You heard Steph say the DeCasta Verde Law Group, if you get into an accident, the brothers win. Brotherswin.com as we bring in Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management, over at the Westgate. So we'll begin with the World Series odds because I watched a great game between the Padres and the Mets last night. The Dodgers have not played well, and my Yankees, the floor has fallen out from them. What are the big significant changes over the last week, Jeff?
Well, just like you mentioned, we have been bumping up the Dodgers. Are up to 5-2, which is a high point for the season for us. The Yankees are up to 12-1, and they'd been in single digits for most of the year. So now Toronto has surpassed them in single digits at 9-1. And if you look at the AL East with that change, Toronto a $3 favorite, Yankees plus 280. So we've seen a flip in the odds with those two teams.
What have you seen with the Padres and the Mets and Philadelphia? I want to talk about the teams that aren't the Dodgers and where the liability is or where the sharp money's been coming in, because I don't think the Padres have had a great year. Philly is a bit up and down. The Brewers had an amazing hot streak there. As I told you before, I think a National League team is the only team that can take out the Dodgers, not an American League team.
Yeah, like you said, we've seen movement on the Brewers down to 12-1.
Yeah.
We have liability on the Mets sitting at 10-1.
Okay.
Now the Padres are up to 25-1, so not too much support for them lately.
Very interesting to me when I look at this too. I know your team is great. This trade deadline stuff, as buyers and sellers are coming in, does that move the market much at all? Unless it's a blockbuster deal, and there aren't many of them out there. You pick up a third baseman, a utility second baseman. Not much changes, right?
It can, because it's all based on perception. So if Eugenio Suarez ends up getting traded somewhere, then that will affect the odds, just because people will be looking to buy onto that team. So if you get a name like that, it surely can do it. And, we'll be paying attention to it. The one thing to watch Thursday, the trade deadline, I believe there's only 3 games. So you're not going to see too many game lines affected by players in and out of the lineup.
Jeff Sherman, VP of Risk Management, go over to the Westgate, the sharpest book in town. So this new trimmed down Luka Doncic, he looks amazing, and we knew he would because he's getting heat for not being in shape when he came over to the Lakers. The body change is remarkable on the cover of Men's Health, and we've been able to see that, and it's trending now. How has that moved the MVP movement with the trimmed down Luka?
Yeah, that came out in the media just yesterday, and now we've seen Luka was sitting at 7-1 for MVP. We actually took a decent sized wager on him at that, and now he's dropped to 4-1. So you're seeing 5, even less than that. We're at 4 for MVP, so we're bumping other players up. Not much on Giannis, Anthony Edwards, Wemby. So it's all Luka right now with what we've seen the past couple of days.
Where do you have SGA coming off the MVP?
I was at 11-4. Now he's down to 9-4. So we took some support for him to be a repeat winner of that award. So we haven't seen too much on Jokic yet. And, we'll have to see if he can repeat what he did last year, because I thought he was the rightful winner last year based on his stats. Jeff
Sherman is our guest. So NFL preseason, I'll be in Canton on Thursday. Chargers, Lions. Tell everyone on the gaming process in the preseason, the limits, what type of handle you usually have on that Thursday night game.
This one will have, it's great to see a July football game going on. So that game is picked with a total of 33, and this one will get more handle than usual just because it's by itself. We generally take 2,000 on a side, 1,000 on a total. So much lower limits than you'd see during the regular season, obviously. And you're going to see a lot of movement in these lines, information-based. For instance, it looks like J.J. McCarthy will be playing the first week of preseason and sitting out the last 2, which is usually opposite of what we see. So I would expect to see a high line on the Vikings next week when those lines come out.
I was just looking online at NFL futures. Tell us where you're at here between Baltimore and Buffalo on odds to win the Super Bowl.
We have the Bills at 6-1, the Ravens at 7-1, and the Bills are seeing a lot of support in every market that we have up. And 2 outsider teams that we're seeing a lot of traction for are the Vikings at 25 and Denver down to 30-1. Those have been 2 very popular teams.
Yeah, I've been noticing Denver. There's a lot of hype on Denver, not only in the AFC, but in the Super Bowl odds there. I don't see it, but then again, I'm a bit biased on that. What about the Chiefs? Are the Chiefs more under the radar than you recall over the Mahomes era?
Yeah, they're up to 7-1, which is higher than you usually see during the times of Mahomes. And their season win total at 11.5 is seeing under support from the sharp players. So, a lot of people believing what we saw in the Super Bowl is going to translate to this season.
Lastly, I want to ask about the Cowboys and their future odds here, because fans just love to go up to the window and throw a 50 or 100 spot on the Cowboys every year.
Yeah, sitting at 40-1 right now, and they have been popular, but they've been dealing with some injury issues too. So it subsided the last couple of weeks with that, especially Micah Parsons' contract situation. So until those things get resolved, it's been slowing down on Dallas' support.
And it looks like Caitlin Clark, because of the injuries, will not win the MVP. The books have got to be happy about that.
Yeah, she's out to 150 to 1 now and just hasn't played enough games. And Nafisa Collier is a $14 favorite, so likely for her to come away with that award.
How short were the odds on Caitlin Clark when the season started, ballpark?
She was 5-2 when I opened them up, and Asia Wilson was actually the favorite ahead of her. You could have found Nafisa Collier 6 to 7 to 1, and she's had by far the best season.
Jeff, enjoy some time off. We look forward to talking to you when the preseason wraps up.
Okay, thanks, JT.
Jeff Sherman over at the Westgate. Good gambling segment. As he's there, he's one of the sharpest minds we have in Vegas. Didn't have enough time to get to golf with him. A UNLV golfer just won this last week, which is really cool that a UNLV golfer won. We're excited about that because we support UNLV. I was talking to the legendary golfer, Texan Jeremy Anderson, on that, and what a great college golfer he is, one of the best and a great friend to our show here. And we are just excited that when you see a UNLV golfer get it done and winning the 3M, nice storyline here. Kurt Kitayama fired a final round 65 to win the 3M Open by a stroke. That hour went fast. And we have the best. Mike North is going to join us, and Mike Jones from The Athletic and NFL Insider is going to join us in a few minutes here. I always tell you about Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, One Love, proud part. You know, they make that cane sauce in store every day. Sometimes I open up my refrigerator and there's a whole bunch of cane sauce, and my kids are using it on other foods because they love the sauce, the crinkle cut fries, the buttery Texas toast, the lemonade, the iced tea. But the Chicken Fingers, proud partner of our show, as training camp is underway. I was out there today, indoors. And I don't pay attention a lot, man. I get up in the morning. I walk the dog, swim, get in the car from Summerlin to deep Henderson. The cones are out again, Bobby. Cones everywhere. We have cones here on Flamingo. Every 3 to 4 years, they decide to repave Flamingo near Durango. So our orange friends are out, the cones. Get ready. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One Love. All right, my son wants me to keep it here and do an NFL recap.
Games all
So I'm
season
going to do
long
that.
on the
I'm going
Las
to take a
Vegas
break.
Sports Network.
Raider
It starts
defense
with the
will
Hall of Fame
hydrate.
game Thursday at 5
Hydrate.
on 12:30.
I'll be
The
right
Game.
back. I'll be right back.
Brought to you by the Southern Nevada Chevrolet dealers.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
It's Ash from Sam & Ash Injury Law. At Sam & Ash, we don't just handle cases. We take care of people. Sam and I started this law firm to provide our clients with unmatched customer service. Our team walks you through the legal process with patience and clear communication. So if you've been injured in a crash, call Sam & Ash, 702-303-0333, or visit salmonashlaw.com. Sam & Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Hey, Aviators fans. Games start Tuesday, July 29th against the Reno Aces, the AAA affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Wednesday, bring your dog to the game. Thursday, $2 beers and the return of Country Night with pregame music by the Tony Marquez Band and a special appearance by country music star Kelsey Hart. There's barbecue, line dancing, and a mechanical bull. Friday is the Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes t-shirt giveaway. And Saturday, it's the Aviators Superman jersey giveaway. Aviators baseball. Fun and affordable. Life's just better at Las Vegas Ballpark.
Great cities are built on strong foundations. The skilled members of Laborers Local 872 never stop building. From the asphalt on our roads, the concrete in our buildings, the solar fields powering the economy, and everything in between to work safely. Laborers Local 872 is modernizing the Nevada workforce and building a global city. The future is Union Strong.
Banking should be personal. At Westar Credit Union, it is. We're not just another financial institution. We're your trusted partner in savings, loans, and life's biggest moments. Join today and let's build your future together. Westar Credit Union, rooted in Nevada, built for you. Visit westar.org or your nearest branch and get started today.
Broker license number 1001607.LLC.
You gotta go Galindo.
I'm Josh Galindo, owner of Galindo Group Real Estate. We're not just a real estate company, we're a lifestyle brokerage with over 20 years of experience. When you work with us, you get more than a realtor. You get an entire team dedicated to creating an experience you'll love.
Good.
From
Hour
start
number
to
2,
finish, we
everybody.
make buying or
Let's get
selling your
going
home
here.
smooth, fun, and completely
Appreciate everybody
stress-free.
jumping in. Modelo Friday will be in Kent. We'll be in Canton for Modelo Friday.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle.
All right,
May
let's see
yours
what we got.
surround you with
1 hour
insight,
today. I'm on Mad Dog tonight.
a healthy perspective.
We'll keep this here for one more
trust,
segment,
and reassurance.
and then we'll be done.
The belief that our differences aren't that different.
Yep.
And compassion just when you need it
We got some
most.
Eric Allen
Life
calls in here
is a
from
circle.
the Raiders.
May
They sent me
yours
a
help
bunch
you
of Eric
live
Allen
the
calls for
healthiest
Eric
life
Allen.
possible.
Rejoin. So I'm going to send them over to you.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive
Hall of
local
Famer
casino
Eric
partner
Allen. How
of the
cool
Las
is that,
Vegas
everybody?
Raiders at Allegiant Stadium.
How cool
Bring
is
your
that?
friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Raider Nation has found its new home for daily Raiders
Yeah, let's
content.
get
This
this
is
going.
Raider Nation Radio 920
Get a
AM,
little
part of
body
the Las
armor
Vegas
in
Sports
here.
Network, KRLV Las Vegas.
Welcome
And
back
granola
to the
bar.
JT the
Granola
Brick
bar.
Show. Brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years.
Open at the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
All right, we're back. Hour number 2, and we are live on YouTube. We need you to subscribe. We're asking you if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. It's really easy. You're all on YouTube. And if you're not, which I wasn't on YouTube. My friends and my kids were. And then we built this YouTube channel, and it's taken a while. It's not easy. It is not easy. But every day we got about 400 or 500 people in here on Twitter and YouTube. And they're going to be able to see the show. And then the Raiders were kind enough to tell me that one of the things I'll be doing this year is they're going to build out a YouTube show with me. That'll be done live from the facility because they like what we're doing here, which is a lot of fun. I'll be hosting the TV show on Monday, recapping the games with Eric Allen, the future Hall of Famer. I'll have the coach's interview with Pete Carroll. I'll have the pre- and post-game show. Nice wrinkle to that is Lincoln Kennedy will be joining me on the post-game show. Thank you. That's nice. So there's a lot of cool things happening. I'm excited to be back here doing everything that we're doing. Mike Jones, kind enough to join us. What a great national NFL writer for The Athletic. And Mike, I want to begin by the tragedy that happened on Park Avenue, the shooting yesterday where 4 individuals died and the shooter took their life. That's in NFL headquarters. I know you retweeted the story a couple of hours ago. How important of an impact has this had at the NFL and their headquarters?
Well, I mean, fortunately for them, they did not have any staffers that lost their lives. There was one of their staffers that got shot, but obviously it's terrifying. A matter of, minutes, hours, who knows if there could have been more people that were there at that time. So it's really sad. It's scary. It's just something that nobody would have ever expected, and nobody should have to even, wonder, imagine, think of when they're going to work.
Absolutely. It's a tragedy, and there's a lot of businesses and really famous companies based in that building. But when everybody saw NFL headquarters yesterday, it hit home with a lot of football fans and a lot of football families. Let's move on to camp here. I'm based in Vegas with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's got a lot of energy going with Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, Geno Smith. Let's start with the AFC West. Everybody's been trying to track down Kansas City. No one's been able to do that. Handicap the improvements that you've seen with the AFC West in general.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Because like you said, everybody's trying to knock the Chiefs off, and the Chiefs continue to address their weaknesses. The offensive line was basically kind of, duct taped together last year. They never found that winning combination, and then they really were exposed badly in the Super Bowl. So they went out, they got Jalen Moore, a left tackle in free agency. They drafted a left tackle as well. They signed interior linemen. They also went to their defensive side in the draft and tried to find some difference makers that have great versatility. So they are still the Chiefs. They are still going to be explosive. They've got healthy wide receivers again. And so it's going to be challenging for everybody. But when you look at the rest of the division, I think that we should see improvement from Denver. Bo Nix had a really outstanding rookie season. Now he's got, a year under his belt. You would think that there'd be improvement there. Another year for all those players under Sean Payton. They took care of Cortland Sutton. So they might close the gap some. I think that they are probably, them and the Chargers probably vying for that second spot right there. The Chargers, look, I think there was some improvement, but I don't know how dramatically improved they'll be. They're still solid, but it was kind of like, you wanted them to make a big splash and try to make a leap, and I guess they're taking the patient approach here. Again, they'll be better at the running back position with Najee Harris there, and they like running the football. But, we'll see what happens with them. And then, the Raiders, even though I think that Pete Carroll and Geno Smith will help bring some stability there, they're still a good ways behind the Chiefs. They played them tough. It's a scrappy divisional battle. But I think that that's probably how this division is going to shake out.
Yeah, I think that's interesting to say. One more follow-up on the Chargers with Justin Herbert. It seems like they want to establish that run behind the offensive line. They went with depth at running back, but I think Justin Herbert's got one of the liveliest and best arms here in football, but I still don't think he has a strong receiving core. Ladd McConkey played well, but that's a place where an elite wide receiver like a Terry McLaurin or someone, Devontae Adams ended up going to the Rams and not the LA Chargers. You still think the Chargers are looking for that marquee wide receiver because Herbert's been in the league now a couple of years and really hasn't had that player.
Yeah, I mean, they had Keenan Allen, they had Mike Williams, and now those guys are gone. Like you mentioned, Ladd McConkey, but they haven't really, and they, of all the teams, really could have used a veteran acquisition this offseason. But, a lot of the top wide receivers were retained by their teams. We saw DK Metcalf get traded to Pittsburgh. But, if you have a number one wide receiver, normally you're hanging on to him. Now, Terry McLaurin, we'll see what happens with him in Washington. But Justin Herbert, I'm sure that he really would desperately love for them to add some more help at the wide receiver position. But looks like they might just have to make do with what they have for this year.
I know you were covering the Commanders there overall, which Jaden Daniels, we all watched quarterback, a lot of us on Netflix, and saw how they jumped Detroit. As Detroit came off their bye week, they were not ready to play that game. Dan Quinn and the Commanders went into Detroit and slaughtered them. That wasn't even a competitive game. Jared Goff still looks like he's in shock from that loss there. With McLaurin, I think the deal's going to get done because they can't afford to set back Jaden Daniels. That's his number one receiver. So Terry should be pretty happy that a deal's going to come here probably quickly.
Well, we'll see how quickly it comes together. He reported to camp on Sunday after 3 days of holding out, but now he's holding in. And I think that in a way that probably puts even more pressure on them because it's a daily reminder. You're seeing him on the field, working with the trainer on the side rather than practicing with his teammates. And the questions continue. When's he going to sign? They need to get a deal done because they got Deebo Samuel. Obviously, the plan was to pair him with Terry McLaurin, help Jaden Daniels take another step forward. And so, look, he would love an excess of $30 million per year. I don't know if he's going to wind up getting that. I think it'd probably be more like 27, 28. But I think they just need to go ahead and get this thing taken care of and get their best guys all on the field together and start trying to build because everybody's trying to chase down the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mike Jones is our guest from Athletic. Von Miller, you think that's a good move? Some aging pass rushers fall off a cliff pretty quick, but he seems to be healthier than he's been in a while and highly motivated to jump on with a great team or a good team emerging.
Yeah, he's definitely very motivated. We'll see how this pans out. That was one thing that they definitely needed was pass rushing help. I don't know that, that they will see how much they can get out of him. I think that he'll be more of a situational type of guy. He wants to be, he talked about it, wanting to be an every down pass rusher. I wouldn't be surprised to see him rotating though. But look, even with him, he'll have an impact. He's very savvy, very, crafty, but he'll also help raise and elevate the guys all around him as well.
I talked to someone in the league today about Haslam and what's going on with the Browns and the love affair maybe for Arch Manning before college football even starts. Can you imagine if Cleveland drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, and there's a potential with the 2 picks they have in the first round to almost tank to go after another quarterback? Are you hearing anything on that front?
I mean, it's really early. I haven't even thought about talking to people about draft stuff right now. Yeah. It's going to be very intriguing because of that quarterback room that they have right there. I think that all the veterans on that team would hope that their window is shrinking. They want to contend right now. And you just never know how a year will play out. And I would be shocked if they went in there trying to tank to get to that spot right there. But we'll see which one of these guys. I think Sanders winds up being the guy, at some point this season. Wouldn't be surprised if Joe Flacco starts, but then Sanders winds up taking over, and then I guess we'll see what happens next year.
Mike Jones joins us. Follow him on social media at @ByMikeJones on X. Who do you like better coming out of the NFC West, the Rams or the Niners, and could Arizona be sneaky good?
I think that Arizona will probably sneak up on some people. I think the Niners have talent. They've got a lot of young guys. They've kind of turned over their roster, and those guys are going to have to grow into their roles. So I think that the Rams are probably going to be the leaders in that division.
The Bears, there's a lot of noise around Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. You have a big army of great writers over at The Athletic. Is there more smoke than fire there? Because Ben Johnson isn't afraid to talk and criticize. And I don't know about what happened earlier today, but Caleb's been struggling to have a really electric, great practice so far in Chicago.
Yeah, but it's early. It's easy for us to jump to conclusions, but these are practice reps. It's all about learning. They've got a long way to go. We'll see what kind of action he gets in the preseason. I imagine he needs to get as many reps as possible. There's a lot of pressure on him after, last year. He didn't have a bad rookie season, but he did, try a little too hard to make something out of nothing and got himself into trouble. So Ben Johnson's got to try to help him, have better decision making. It's going to be, a process. You don't just come into a new offense and start shining right away. So it's going to be interesting.
Where do you stand on Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers? Do you think it's 1 year where he's going to carry the team to the playoffs, or it will be a shaky ride?
I think it's going to be a shaky ride. Obviously, they've got a talented defense. But, I don't know that Rodgers at this stage in his career and DK Metcalf, I don't know that their offense is going to be that much better than what it was last year with Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and George Pickens. So it's going to be interesting. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that, it didn't pan out for him with the Jets, and there was all kinds of different frictions and things like that. We'll see. If they get off to a slow start and Rodgers isn't happy, then, there's going to be finger pointing and distractions, and, that's not normally the Steeler way. So they're really rolling the dice, hoping that he can turn back the clock a little bit here. But, only Tom Brady was able to do that with the Bucks, and that's so rare. They're that they can capture similar magic, but I think that that's overly optimistic.
Mike, what are you working on at the Athletic? What can we look forward to next?
Digging into this NFLPA stuff some more, as they are still just rudderless right now without an executive director. And then later this week, I'm heading down to Tampa for training camp. Then I'll bounce over to Jacksonville after that.
Real quick follow up, because I follow the union closely and know a lot of people around the league, and I think that's a great job. I really do. If you can handle that job and the scrutiny that comes along with it, that's a job that someone needs to be tough representing the players going up against the owners. Are there like 4 or 5 guys looking for that job, or is there just one standout? A former player and a legendary former player, would they not even want to go near that because they got money and they want to enjoy their retirement, or is that what the job entails? Someone who could grab the respect of the players and the owners?
Well, for this interim job, it's going to be interesting if it's somebody like Don Davis, who's been with the Union a long time, former linebacker. I've heard Dominique Foxworth is another name that's been mentioned as a possible interim guy. Whoever it is, he's got a lot on his plate as he takes over. It's probably just a 90-day type of thing, but he's got to get the trust of the players back. They've got to get their messaging all back on the right page. He's also got to recruit stronger leaders. Remember in the 90s and the 2000s, you had guys like, Troy Vincent, Brian Dawkins, Drew Brees, big name guys who were on the executive committee. And now you've got a bunch of, backup linebackers and long snappers and, not a lot of recognizable prominent names. And so they need to strengthen their leadership ranks and get these guys really buying in, because the owners are, they want to push this thing to 18 games. The players don't want to do that. But if you don't have a strong leader in that position to direct these players, it's going to be difficult with the fight against the owners.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well said. Mike, thanks for doing this. I hope to do it again soon. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Mike Jones, national writer for The Athletic. I like The Athletic a lot. We have Tashawn Reed here. Remember, Vic Tafer went up to the Bay to go with the Niners. The Athletic's got really good writers here, and we'll reach out to all of them. All right, that opens up a line for you. We're talking about Brock Bowers today, and normally it's about alumni who are older. No, I included Brock Bowers in our most influential draft picks in Raiders history. He's the only young guy got in this thing for a reason. And there's going to be some other ones like Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, other people we're going to get to later in training camp. Today is Brock Bowers. If you have a call on Brock, it would be about the draft pick of Brock. How did we get him at 13, and how fortunate enough are we to have him going forward? I think that's very important. I don't mind looking ahead. Again, I'm not saying he's going to the Hall of Fame just yet, but everything looks really good with him. And seeing him out there and watching him practice, it's just fun. Michael Mayer practices well, too. I don't know what went on with Mike in the past. He seems to be in a great place now, and we should all care about Michael Mayer. If you're a member of Raider Nation, no matter what he went through in the past and wasn't available, now he is available, and he seems to be in a great place. So I think Raider fans should be really excited about that going forward, to have the ability to go out and have a player like Michael Mayer, who hasn't got the touches in the past, is able to handle everything that's going on with Brock Bowers, now has to embrace Chip Kelly's offense and impress Pete Carroll and John Spytek. And it seems like he's getting A-graded from everybody involved here. That takes someone who's completely focused. And it seems like Michael Mayer is in a great place at the right time. And hopefully it works out this year. Gangster Raider, good to hear from you today. Appreciate you checking in. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, JT? And I owe Brock Bowers an apology, because the night we drafted him, I was kind of in my feelings because I was upset about Penix getting taken at number 9 before we even got the pick. And then I thought, the fact that we already had Myers, I thought that we needed tight end, so I kind of poo-pooed the pick. But I'm so glad that we got him, because he's the best player we had last year, pretty much on the squad. Him and Jacoby Myers. I think they were the best 2 players we had on the squad. And, with him, and then we got Genty this year, we finally starting to stack some draft picks like I thought we would have been doing when we made the Khalil Mack trade.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And also, he's so prolific, because I was just watching some of his tape. I think it was this weekend from in college and this first year with the Raiders. And he's just very impressive, just an impressive athlete overall. And I think we underutilize him, because I was looking at how they used him in Georgia. And with Chip Kelly being offensive coordinator now, he can unlock a whole lot of stuff that we didn't even scratch last year. You know what I mean? And that's part of the reason I'm so excited about our offense, because not only do we have a number 1 tight end in football, according to PFF, we also have a top 10 quarterback in Geno. We have a only receiver in the NFL that didn't drop any passes in Myers. You know what I'm saying? We also have the other tight end from Notre Dame who we just got finished. I don't know why his name
Michael
away
Mayer.
from me, right? Yeah, Michael Mayer. We got him. You know what I'm saying? Then we got Trey Tucker. Not Jackson Genty, who should lead the league not only in rushing but also in receiving touchdowns as a running back. I'm excited, and not only because of Chip Kelly. People don't understand Chip Kelly is I think going to be one of the best offensive coordinator in the league. For us to go from the worst offensive coordinator to the best offensive coordinator with the weapons that we have, I think we could easily average 31 points a game. And if we can get 31 points a game, we should win at least 11 games. What you think about that?
Well, that's lofty. 11 games. Thank you. I'd love to see that. It'd be great for all of us here. 31 points a game is a lot of points to average. Average 31 points a game. I mean, this is a team that's really struggled to put up 20 points a game, and to want them to all of a sudden just jump in and make that drastic of a move, I'm okay with it. I think we're going to see a big move in regards to the Raiders and what they do with their offense. I'm very optimistic that overall this team will be more explosive. But wow, last year they couldn't get anything going. Last year, the Raiders had a minus 125 differential, 309 points scored, 434 given up. And that was rough. It was really difficult for the Raiders to get anything going last year because they couldn't run the ball. So you draft Ashton Genty, and all of a sudden you're vastly improved. You go from dead last to maybe the top 15 if Ashton Genty has that type of year. And that's the type of year we need. If everybody wants this thing to turn around dramatically the way we all do, it's going to have to start with the ability to go out there and run the ball effectively, super effectively with aggression, and be that great. And I think that's realistic. You can truly believe that the Raiders can flip their horrific running game of last year, dead last, and get it possibly into the top 10, top 15. That would be nice to see. But I'm not going to tell you it's automatically going to happen. I was there today. Jordan Meredith's running with the ones, and Jackson Powers-Johnson isn't. They're making decisions with that offensive line. That's going to go all the way through camp before we get to that New England game. Out to North Las Vegas. Vince, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
JT, how you doing, brother?
Good, Vince.
I just want to speak on what Gangsta Raider. First of all, I love when he calls in, man. He's always bringing that swagger. But I think, my brother, I think we just need to pump our brakes a bit. Yes, I agree. The season's coming around, and there's that natural excitement of football being back. But what he's saying about averaging 31 points, I think we need to pump our brakes a bit. Yes, he is right when we have a top, looks like a generational talent in Brock Bowers. Yes, Jacoby Myers, he's a great receiver. But if we're being honest with ourselves, I don't think he is a great receiver. I don't think he's a true number one. I think he's a perfect number two. But us drafting Genty, I think that potentially, like Bowers, could be a generational type of player. I'm praying that he's going to turn out like how Saquon turned out for the Giants, now Philadelphia Eagle. But I think we just need to slow down a bit, pump your brakes. Geno, as far as him being the top 10 quarterback, yeah, he's got some talent, but he does. I think the things he kind of struggles with, or he needs to improve, is his reads. His decision-making as far as letting that ball go. Yes, he's a great player. I think having Geno under center, he kind of puts us back into that. He gives us that stability, but I think he kind of puts us back into that spot where we had when Derek Carr was under center, but he has the element of mobility. So that adds another tactic to his game, a whole nother level, a whole nother dynamic. That's the word I'm looking for, a whole nother dynamic. Yes, Michael Mayer, I followed Michael Mayer in Notre Dame. He's a solid guy, but going back to what Gangster Raider said, yes, I'm excited too, but I think we just need to pump our brakes a little bit. We need to get a true number one receiver. We had that in Devontae. He's no longer here. But yeah, I think we just need to slow down. I see this offense. Honestly, if I'm being real with you, JT, I see this offense picking up slowly. We might average about 21 to 27 points, but that might be within 4 or 5 weeks. Thank you for your time, JT.
Thank you. Really enjoyed that phone call. Very nice phone call from Vince in North Las Vegas. Continue to call back. Pumping the brakes isn't what radio's about. Radio doesn't pump the brakes. I'm looking for people to get in here. So if you think the Raiders are going to win 11 games, I want to hear from you. Now, if you're completely outlandish and you start saying crazy stuff, I'll bring that up, but no pumping the brakes. This is go time in a couple of weeks. Still summertime radio. We're still getting through the summer, which means we're not going nuts. Hear my voice now? Not very good. And I got to get it ready for the regular season. And pumping the brakes? No. Callers, listeners, Those online, don't pump the brakes. Go balls out when it comes to the Raiders. We're going to move Vinny Bonsignore till tomorrow. Coming up next, Mike North, one of the greatest sports talk legends of all time, on the death of Ryan Sandberg. Wow, that's a big one. 65 years old, baseball Hall of Famer, passed away after complications from cancer. We got to stop cancer. We got to continue to fight. Michael, join us. Hopefully I can get in a question or two on Caleb Williams and the Bears. Thanks to the bricklayers and everyone on YouTube. Appreciate you being there for me every day.
Previously.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Full show tomorrow. Mad Dog Sports Radio tonight. Wednesday, then Canton for Eric Allen in the Hall of Fame. Be well, everybody. Please hit the like button and share this with everybody. And please ask your Facebook friends. Instagram. Need you to go to Instagram, JT the Brick LV.